Hello and welcome to Flory Models. Here we are on Friday the 27th of August 2021 after what has been really a full-on week. Lots of good week for me. Managed to push on a lot with the Vulcan. Obviously we've got the Ural truck finished off, and to be honest with you, last weekend I spent basically 3 days, including the Monday as well, just editing. I've got so much footage to edit and then obviously to get uploaded and put up, so we're slowly working our way through it all. Anyway, it all started, as you can see, down with the Ural truck. As I say, this is a bit of a montage one, and you can have a look down in here for a change. So here it is, all in its glory, all the various parts down in here, right the way down to part 7. And again, part 7 is all about the weathering going through. So we're just using oils. We haven't used any washes at this point or anything else like that. It's just literally using oils for washes and for marking. So we're coming in with some yellows to break up that green effect and going through the motions of it on this particular one. And again, it's just one of those where you can just let your imagination run wild. And that's what I love about this type of kit and working on this type of project. There is no rules. I'm not using any references whatsoever. I'm just literally got a handful of photos for them in theatre and in that type of thing, and I'm just taking a few sort of weathering cues from that. But technically it's my truck and we're working our way through it. And again, it's got a long way to particularly go with this particular one. And then we moved on in the latter part of the video into building the gun, which, you know, again, you might have seen me talk about this one on the live shows and everything else like that. The gun is an absolute nightmare. It was quicker to build the entire truck than it was actually this gun down in here. As you can see, she is all finished and done, but it is worth it. It's very fiddly, time consuming, clean up of all the parts, getting them to fit in there. It's a lot of detail and a lot of parts in a very small area. So if you're a little bit like me with the old sausage fingers, I've got my magnifiers on, I'm like proper heads down trying to get it together. And it's one of those where you sort of need to concentrate and just get the alignments all in there, and it sort of comes together. But even with that, it's an early trumpeter, so it takes a little bit of time. There is a full review up on this one that I actually did about it, which is this one here. There is a video up down in here and it goes through, but you can probably see from the parts from it, you know, like I've often joked about with certain manufacturers, like why use 1 or 2 parts when you can use 10? But it's one of those, it's highly detailed right the way through. There's only 3 sprues off of it, but there's a lot of parts on the sprues, as you can see. There's a lot of burring, it needs cleaning up and all the rest of it. Nice little bit of photo etch down in there, but that was it, completed, ready to be sort of fitted and further weathered to the back of the truck bed. And again, it was quite nice, and there it is in situ, as you can see. So again, it was one of those ones where you're like, okay, it's not too bad. The review is up, you can see the review of it, and then obviously you can see basically the first part of this one now is in with part 6 on this particular build. Is it 6 or 7 on there? I'm not too sure actually. What are we on there? 7. Part 7 on this particular build of going through. There is going to be another 3 parts still to come to finish this off, because obviously what we need to do is get it built, painted, so forth and so on. That's really into part 8, and get it weathered, and then obviously in parts 9 and 10 it's about bringing it all together. So it's doing all the latter stages, the final touches to it, going through the motions, and then bringing the weathering as a whole. So again, it's one of those things, it's all too easy to do, you know, a great weathering job on your truck, then you put your gun on the back and it's different weathering, and it technically wouldn't be, it would be the same. It's in the same theatre, the same type of wear and tear, same crew crawling all over it, so it's getting all of those bits together. But anyway, it is coming on. There's another 3 parts on that, and really we're talking about all the different weathering techniques, bringing them all in on one thing. So it might be a little bit overkill with the amount of oils we've gone through, and obviously then we do use clay washes as well to really neutralise it and dust it down and things like that. But it was one of those ones, got involved with it, got carried away with it, and it certainly was a lot of fun. So anyway, a couple more parts come on that one. Really did enjoy it. And again, if you've never built Zvezda trucks and stuff, seriously give them a look, because they are absolutely fantastic. Thoroughly enjoyed that particular build. Then obviously on Tuesday we got the daily show, and again obviously the daily shows on Tuesday, as you know, tend to be sort of Tool Tuesday as well. And again, we were further talking about some of the things that we'll be doing in these builds. And then we're down in here, if I remember which one it is, here it is. We were looking obviously at doing the tools, basic tools, you know, and obviously a lot has been spoken about is obviously the amount of tools I've got thousands and thousands of pounds worth of tools here. But this is one of those things, it is going to be a proper video that will be coming out, and I will put links to everything that I use and all those different bits and pieces down, but we'll be talking about the actual basics. So, you know, this isn't a mass thing. This was literally, we were talking about, you know, a pair of side cutters. They're pretty much a must, because once you've had them, you'll never go back. good old-fashioned scissors still, because they've got a part into this one, a simple knife, set of tweezers, cocktail sticks, basic razor saw, clothes pegs, a couple of different types of glue, a thick and a thin one, and then obviously, you know, I had just 3 sanders as well. We're not talking about a ton of sanders down here or anything else, but it literally is just a few things. So yeah, a couple of sanders, and then obviously an infinity cutting mat, and that way you've got all your different types of thicknesses of tape and things like that. So, you know, literally that was the one to it, where it's like, you know, you don't need to spend a fortune, you don't need everything. And really the ones that are in here, which technically those are the ones, that's all I really use day to day. Yes, I've got drawers full back here of tools that I very rarely use. It's nice when you've got them, because you might have that particular job and you've got the perfect tool for the job. It's nice, but if you haven't, it's not the end of the world. You still can do things with those. So what I've done is, it's going to be part of the new Bitesize that will be starting next week, and we'll be looking at basic tool set. What is the basics, just to get you going? Then we'll be looking at the more advanced stuff. And then obviously we will do one later down the line, clearly, called Luxury, where you've got money's no hold of some of the more expensive tools I've got that I have been given, or, you know, I've gone out and bought and probably regretted it, because it's a lot of money for something you can usually buy a lot cheaper. So that's going to come along. And obviously we've got the new series of airbrushing tutorials starting next week. So really I'm getting ahead with all of this lot to free me up for a month or two to get those done and get working on them and push through with it. Something that's a little bit of a passion of mine. Obviously on Wednesday it's the PM show, so me and the lads were on, obviously talking things all from the PM store, as you can see down in here, and then answering some of your questions about what's going on in the hobby and those bits and pieces. So if you want to see that one for me and the guys, just over an hour on that one, that is down on there. Last night obviously we had the live show. You can see us talking about construction. So last night's show, literally we were speaking about the construction part of the hobby. Obviously last week we were on a mini rant, but the week before we was talking about the differences between construction and painting, and how really you go from construction of a model kit through to when you're in soon as primer and onwards. That's very personal, because obviously, you know, you've got different ways of doing it. The artistic side comes out and everything else. But we were talking just about construction and instructions, and how instructions, well, one, how far they've come along in the last couple of years, because they're literally getting really good compared to what they used to be, but how annoying it is when instructions aren't that good, you know, and various things. And we were talking about obviously the bugbears, the sanding, the filling, the rescribing, the ones that are the challenging part of the hobby. But again, like we've said, if everybody can get the basics down and then you just sort of go along with it, before you get into the paint stage, everybody's model should look alike. It's that thing, as soon as you put primer down and you're going forward, everybody then puts their personal touches. You've got people how they do their weathering, you've got obviously people like a gloss finish, you get other people like a really heavy battered look and all the rest of it. That's where it comes very personal, making your way through those. So if you want to catch up with that show, we were on last night as well, down in there, and obviously Matt did do our official timekeeper at 9 o'clock. The actual, what have we got down in here? Sorry, reviews up this week. As well, so we've obviously got the review for this little guy I spoke about before, but also reviews as well. We had the Panther, so this is the Meng-A version of the Panther in 1/35 scale. Great, it's a beautiful kit. As I say, full video is up on this one, lovely markings through to it, a little bit of photo etch, as I say, and then obviously the kit itself. The only thing I will say is, yes, we spoke about this on a couple of the shows, the tracks. Yeah, okay, it's got the guide horns as well. Like, really? Anyway, there is aftermarket ones available if you don't want to do that. And as we found now, there's even a company who'll put them together for you as well. So very good of those as well. But anyway, the full review is up on that particular one. If you want to go off and have a look at that one is up with you like that. And that brings us really up to today, which you can see, the Vulcan. Next part of the Vulcan is up. That's over here. And as I say, this is a free to watch video, so anybody can see these. I'm putting up a part every single Friday. They're all listed just down in here as well. So here we are, we're down to part 6, which is basically finishing off the construction side of it. Got some of the stills from it just down in here. So we're working on the nozzles, getting them all nice. A little bit of filler work, because to be honest, it does need it. It's not without its own problems. So we had to get in here, as you see, a little bit of the old sprue filler. down into those areas, and a few around these as well. That's what we're looking at down in these photos, because these parts fit in, but then you've got lines, so they need to be totally taken out and polished out. And again, fitting down all the little lumps and bumps over this one. So we're putting the refueling probe in, various things on this one right the way through, and then obviously painting and getting up those seamless intakes. As I say, you've got that big join down there, then one's down the side, so spending a little bit of time to make sure that they're seamless right the way through. Fitting all the control surfaces onto this one as well, so we got the flaps and the ailerons being fitted in there, a little bit of a wavy angle to sort of make that one work. Again, you're slightly behind on that one, I'm up to here. So this week we've got into the painting stage. So who doesn't love a Vulcan? And again, I love, actually, I know the full wraparound one's quite nice, but I love the contrast between the underside down in here with that sort of off-white with the actual medium sea grey and dark green on the top. I just think it's a great one. And again, it's a little bit of a handful, but taking our time with this one, and I have shown it all about masking up, so making sure you've got this area. I did do a little, well, backdoor technique. We used a bit of high density foam for masking up the intakes to get the demarcation line between, so we didn't use tape or anything, and to be honest, it's come out absolutely fantastic, better than I thought it would, and stuff like that. But she's coming along very nicely down in here. And obviously for this part, we talk about making homemade masks for this one. We blew up some instructions, so literally we just stuck them in the photocopier and enlarged it by 245%, and we're good to go. All right, so we put those through, and then we use these as a template, stick them down, spray it on, job done. And again, a little bit of mild weathering onto this one just to get us going. Next up for this one, obviously we will get it into decals, seal it down, gloss it because they were glossy, and then what we're going to do is going to come in then with washes and then weathering to knock it back a little bit to give us that type of thing. But I've already started on the gear. We've got all the gear down in here, so again, she's not very far away from being finished either. But again, it's a beautiful kit. It's going together really well. No real problems with it. My only problem has been literally trying to fit the tail. It's a little bit of a tight fit. And again, a couple of bits of filler, but it needs it. So we put a little bit of filler on the top here of those areas you saw in the photos. But it needs it because it's a big flat area, and if you don't and you've got a mark, boy, are you going to see it. It's going to stand out like a sore thumb. But she's looking very nice. Hopefully you agree, and loving every minute of that particular build. But as I said, it is free to watch. I know obviously some of them are members only, but if you're not a member, you can go off and see all the parts of that, and the next part of that will be up on Fridays. So every Friday there'll be another part of this going up. And again, I'm about 2 parts in front of you, so you'll start to catch me up in a minute with the weathering. Takes a little bit longer as we make our way through on that one. So again, really busy week all the way through. And then obviously this weekend is a bank holiday weekend. So obviously we tend to do something. So on Monday, the PM store will have a 10% special. So it's going to start first thing in the morning till late at night, and it's 10% off all model kits. So any manufacturer of kits, it's not off of tools and paints and everything else. It's purely off of kits. So if you want to pop in, have a look in the new arrivals area, bits and pieces like that, it's 10% off everything that you see in here. Obviously it's not 10% off the specials. The specials are pre-discounted already. Okay, so you don't get 10% off of this lot, but if you want to grab yourself a little bit of a bargain, damage boxes, things like that as well, they are all down in here as well. So if you want to grab something from the pile down in there, help yourself, but it is 10% off the actual PM store of anything. So pop in, have a look around, see if anything takes your fancy, and if you can, the discount is automatically put on at the checkout. You don't have to put in a code or anything else like that. It will be automatically added at the actual checkout. But remember, it's only on standard stuff. It's not on the stuff that's on sale, okay, because that's already been discounted clearly on that one. Anyway, and that is about it. Again, really busy week, loving these ones. It's nice to get the Ural truck, that's finished and done and dusted and out of the way. The Vulcan, it was a little bit of a worry doing the paint, shall we say, and I was thinking, how are we going to get around this one? But it's worked absolutely fantastic, so I've loved that. That's really nice, coming along fantastic. So yes, hopefully next week we'll get that one finished off as well, and then you'll be catching up watching these parts as I get on and do the new Bitesize and the new tutorial videos and everything else like that. So I'm really excited about. So we'll be putting them up as they're done. So as they're going up, you'll get them as well out onto the main site and obviously into the forum and areas like that. Speaking of the forum, last thing just to mention is, don't forget the actual forum, the SIG is just about to end for the Australian ones. So that is down in here. So obviously the actual Anzac SIG is coming to an end at the end of the month. So you've got until Tuesday, I think is it? Tuesday is the actual last day, 31st, to get this one actually finished off and done. Okay. So again, we've got 98 entries into that one. We've got 56 finished. Remember, there's no medal or anything else for these, but obviously you will get a full reveal video, which will go up next Friday for this one, showcasing all your great work on that one. There's some fantastic entries being put in there. We'll have a proper look at that next week, and then obviously on this on next Thursday's show, on the live show, we're going to be looking at obviously the group build that's just starting, which is the Comrade Buller one, which is basically anything Soviet, which is the SIG, which is going to take you to the end of the year. So really now, it sounds horrible, but we're coming into autumn, so it's the end of the year as we're making our way through on that one. So you've got the Out of Africa group build, which is my entry for it just down in here, and then obviously we're going to be running that one to the end of the year, and then next year we'll be obviously making our decisions on the new group builds and things. I might let a few of those slip on last night, shall we say. One of the ones I'm most excited about anyway for next year. So we've got lots of good stuff coming along on that one. Anyway, as always on a Friday, I'm going to leave you with your great work. So until Monday, everybody, happy modelling. Take care.
I was not ready to falling like I'm wasted. My heart grows heavy. Don't taste me rushing and keep your words naked. You got me blushing, and you forever I'll follow. You'll be my holy ground. You forever I'll follow in immortality. I can see you and me free in immortality. I can see you and me free. You left me crying and running through a ghost town, alone and stranded. Why leave me hoping and guessing for the answer?